This is the World Robotics Championships. It's the dawn of the final day of qualification matches, and honestly, half the absolute roller coaster the last 48 hours we've had.
How are we feeling?
Mid, because I feel like we did make a lot of improvement.
You know, it's still Worlds, so it's pretty awesome that we're here anyways.
We're gradually getting better.
Just being here this morning feels like we've really finally ironed out those kinks and have a fighting chance. We've been through it. Seriously. Parts breaking left and right, scores at the rock bottom. It's the kind of thing that could make a team just want to pack up. But that's not what these students are about. And it's not what this event, the First Tech Challenge World Championship, is about either. I'm Coach Pratt, and this is our team, 23014, the Flying Dutchman from the Netherlands. You're about to jump in with us on what could be a make or break day. We've tackled setback after setback with strides, and today I'm going to show you the insane pressure, the on-the-fly engineering, and the sheer grit and determination that it takes when your back's against the wall at one of the biggest student robotic events on the planet. Can a team that's been knocked down this hard turn 2 days of trials into something amazing? We're about to find out. Stick with me, because it's going to be a wild ride to the finish line. So what exactly is the First Tech Challenge, or FTC, that has thousands of students so fired up? So it's a global sports league, but instead of balls and nets, it's robots and complex game fields. High school teams, like ours from the Netherlands, get a brand new game each year. Then they get about 12 intense weeks to brainstorm, design, build, and program a robot from the ground up to tackle that challenge. The game is played in partnerships with another team, so working together is a pretty big part. But first is more than just winning. It's about developing crucial STEM skills, problem solving on the fly, learning from industry professionals, and even something called gracious professionalism, which means competing hard, but also helping out your competitors. It's an incredible program that builds future engineers and innovators. These games get complex fast, so I'll break down this year's challenges quick. The game is played on a 3x3 meter field with 2 alliances, with 2 robots on each red and blue alliance respectively. Robots had to go into the center structure to collect plastic rectangular prisms and place them in the respective baskets on the corners of the field for 8 points. Or they could bring a sample to a human. This human adds a special clip to the plastic piece, and then that allows the robot to hang this piece from the center bar for 10 points. In the last stages of the match, the end game, robots can hang from the bottom rung for 15 points, or grab the bottom bar, lift themselves up off the ground, and then grab the top bar and lift themselves up for 30 points. There are more complexities to the game, but that's a rough idea. Now, our journey to the World Championships in Houston has already been a roller coaster. We flew in from the Netherlands, and somehow managed to get a power drill through airport security and a carry-on. Oops. We squeezed in a quick visit to NASA, which was a huge hit since many of our parents work for the European Space Agency. Day 1 of the competition is judging day. We aced our interview, but in our very first match, a critical arm component on our robot snapped. But thanks to that gracious professionalism, another team, one of our competitors, 3D printed a newly redesigned part for us overnight. Day 2 was an absolute battle. We installed a new arm and it held strong. But then it was just one thing after another. Broken claws, sensor malfunctions, slipping gears, snapped lifting strings, even some code glitches. 5 different matches and 5 different headaches. The students were constantly diagnosing, fixing, and MacGyvering some solutions under some immense pressure. We ended day 2 battered, bruised, and ranked 62 out of 64 for teams in our division. Morale was low, but they absolutely refused to quit.
And how are you personally feeling?
Anyway, I think sleep is important, and we got lots of sleep last night. So yeah.
Which brings us to day 3. We started the day near the bottom rankings, but you know what? Something had shifted in the team. The kids were actually in better spirits. I think they come to terms with the first rough couple of days, and were just determined to make the most of the final qualification day, to leave everything out on those fields. The first order of business was restring those linear slides. Yesterday on day 2, that desperate hang attempt at the very end, trying to salvage some of those extra points, it ended up snapping those strings, and that meant that our main lift arm couldn't go up and down. This meant another careful, time-consuming repair before we could even think about the first match of the day. Then comes around to match 7, our first match, and the team pulled off something I've honestly never seen anywhere in FTC, a mid-match human-player switch. So in FTC, teams play in alliances, and each alliance has one human player who interacts with the game from outside the field, like feeding in game pieces to the robot. We really wanted to run our specific autonomous routine, which our human player knew inside and out. But our alliance partners for the match wanted their human player for their driver-controlled period because they were more familiar with their robot's needs during that time. So, our human player started the match, ran our auto sequence. Then, as soon as that autonomous ended and the driver-controlled period began, they did a quick badge swap with our alliance's human player. So our human player then became our partner's drive coach from the sidelines, and their human player stepped in to feed pieces to our lines. It was a fantastic bit of quick thinking, communication, and collaboration. So technically, I coached 2 teams at Worlds. Now, we still lost the match on points, but that clever maneuver, a bit of shared strategy, and some fun did wonders for the team morale. It honestly made up for a lot of those built-up frustrations from the previous days. And throughout the day, that collaborative spirit continued to shine. Our scouting team, even though our robot wasn't performing at its peak, was actively going around and sharing the data that we had collected with the other teams who could make good use of it. Many of our team members were also spending their downtime walking around the pits, talking to other teams, looking closely at the designs, asking questions, and learning. It's always incredible to see this open exchange of ideas, and that's what FIRST is truly all about, beyond just getting points on the board. The judges were also making their rounds through the pits today. After the initial formal interview on day 1, they do these follow-up pit visit. And we had a few visits, and the team felt really good about how they presented their outreach efforts, their programming, and the engineering challenges that they'd overcome this season. Thankfully, we only had 4 matches scheduled for today, compared to those 5 hectic matches from day 2, so there's a lot more breathing room between matches. This made the team noticeably more chill, back to the practice fields for a lot of autonomous tuning and programming. Match 8, our second of the day, saw a much improved autonomous run after all that practice. We still lost this match, but seeing that auto worked better was a small victory, and the confidence was starting to grow. That focused time to slow down, analyze the data, and really think about the programming logic definitely helped. Unfortunately, during the driver control period, we hit another snag. Our outtake gear slipped a tooth, and that meant that the claw couldn't quite close enough to properly grasp those game pieces. Back in the pit, with no time for a major mechanical teardown, our programmers came up with a really clever workaround. They simply added a button to the controller that would make the claw motor close just a little bit more than its usual close position to compensate for that slip. Some really amazing problem solving under that pressure. Our second last match of the competition, match 9, was exactly what the team needed. Nothing broke on the robot. That extra close button for the claw worked brilliantly. Simple fix and allowed us to manipulate specimens effectively. We still lost on points, but the robot performed as intended, consistently and reliably. And that feeling of control was huge for the team's morale. We finally had a match with no bugs and could perform consistently just like we'd done back in the Netherlands. And our confidence was back. Going into match 10, the final qualification match for us for the entire tournament, things were finally clicking. On the practice fields, our autonomous routine was hitting its marks consistently and driver controlled was looking solid. We were also paired up with a really smart and collaborative team from the USA who shared a lot of knowledge with us. For this last match, the team felt like it was their bot, the one they envisioned with all those robot gremlins finally exercised. And they absolutely delivered. The autonomous mode, 4 game pieces score. Through the driver control period, they were a scoring machine. Our best performance of the entire weekend by a long shot. And to cap it all off, In those tense final seconds, they went in for a hang, and the string didn't break. That one match made all of that struggle worthwhile. So day 3 ended on that massive high. We finished the qualification rounds, and later that evening, the alliance selections for the division finals took place. We weren't chosen to be a partner, which was expected given overall ranking. But honestly, it wasn't that heartbreaking. After the last match performance, the team had already achieved their personal victory. We celebrated with a team trip to the Houston Astros ballgame, perfect way to unwind. Day 4 of the championship is all about the final matches with the best of the best and the awards. Our team didn't win any of the major judge awards this year, and that was okay. And our good friends Litbot from Lithuania secured 3rd place for the Inspire Award in the winner. But more than anything, Day 4 was a chance for our team to truly appreciate the sheer mind-blowing level of competition at the first World Championship. To give you some context of the insanity of some of these robots, our highest score all weekend was 365 points. In one of the grand final matches we watched, an alliance scored 312 points in just the first 30 seconds of the match alone. Absolutely incredible, and seeing that top tier play was really inspiring for all of the team. So that's a wrap on the first Tech Challenge World Championships for the Into the Deep season. Did we achieve the competitive results on the scoreboard that we had initially dreamed of? No. Were there moments of deep frustration? Absolutely. But the team left Houston feeling genuinely inspired and stronger engineers from the experience. Overwhelmingly, they were fired up and already looking forward to the next season. I've already overheard them excitedly talking about off-season projects, new designs, and how they can apply all those hard-won lessons from this year to come back even stronger. And that right there is the real win. It's about the growth, the problem-solving, the resilience built, and that passion ignited. I am so proud of what this team has accomplished and how far they've come. And that's the power of FIRST. If you found value in watching our team's journey, the engineering challenges they tackled, and the lessons learned along the way here at the World Championships, please consider giving this video a like. And if you want more insights into competitive robotics, program tutorials, and a deeper look into the design process, consider subscribing. I've got a lot more to share. Thanks for watching, and best of luck on your next robotics project.